Good afternoon and welcome to SAIT Newsfile. I'm Rye Clark. Gates Gordon will have a look at all the highlights later in the show. What can we expect?
Well, Rye, plenty of sports from tennis to hockey. I'll have all those sports highlights coming up later in the show.
You know, when it snows, I just forget other sports exist sometimes.
True.
Well, Scott Krause is currently out braving the cold. How's the fresh snowfall looking out there, Scott?
It's cold and very bright outside today. The temperature is a bit chilly, but it's expected to reach a high of -5. Last year, on March 3rd, 2021, it reached 9 degrees. These temperatures are nothing like how it was in 1931, because that year, Alberta experienced some of the most extreme weather conditions ever, reaching a high of 43 and a low of -61. I'll have more details later today on SAIT Newsfile.
Thanks, Scott. Now here's a look at today's top stories. More than 1 million refugees have now fled Ukraine and surrounding areas as Russia continues its invasion. Canada is aiding those fleeing by loosening entry requirements for refugees. Canada's Immigration Minister, Sean Fraser, says Canada will be waiving fees and visa requirements for Ukrainian nationals. Ukraine has been receiving more weapons and other supplies daily from their allies, including a $350 million package of military support from the U.S. More Ukrainians are predicted to be displaced as Russia increases their assault. Canada will introduce tariffs up to 35% on Russian goods. Canadians are not still experiencing the shock of inflation and how it's hitting their wallets these days. But there's still more to come. High demand for oil combined with a shortage of supply and geopolitical tensions have been pushing oil prices and consequently gas prices up for weeks now. And when fuel prices go up, everything else does too. Sylvia Naranjo has been following this story and reports live from 16th Ave. Sylvia, what can you tell us about the situation?
Hi, Rai. Calgarians were very surprised today to find out that the prices have risen again. Now we have a price of 157.9 average per liter. So the problem here is that there's no sign for it to stop.
If I see a station that's still at 146.9, then I'll pop in and top it up.
The price of gas continues to rise to record levels, with the price of oil soaring above the $110 per barrel. Canadians have seen for the last weeks how short money comes now when trying to fill up their vehicles.
I used to spend about $30, $35. It is now $75 a day. Double.
It was crazy. I'm paying like 20 cents more per liter, which is quite a bit of money when I've got to pay for something like this.
Hopefully maybe our Alberta government can come in with some subsidies to help people that don't have a lot of money.
For the academic chair of the State School of Business, there are 3 principal factors which explain this situation.
First is oil prices being historically low and low investment, so not a lot of new capacity. The second one, COVID, and basically misjudging how long it would take or how much people were going to use, and being very low on the forecast versus reality. And the last one, and most recently, you wonder why it's gone up so much so quickly, is of course the war in Ukraine.
Oil prices surged over 7% on Tuesday, today your highest since 2014. Premier Jason Kenney blames it all to the Trudeau carbon tax law.
We'll be bringing a motion to the Alberta legislature calling on the Trudeau government to abandon, at the very least, its planned gas tax hike on April the 1st, and once again to roll back the entire carbon tax.
The price of diesel also changed, bringing it up 7 cents per liter. And with gas and diesel prices going up, experts predict food prices could rise 30 to 35% more.
That's right. We will just have to wait and see what the government is going to do now to mitigate the situation. Back to you, Rai.
That was Sylvia Naranjo reporting live from 16th Ave. And gas prices aren't the only thing going up. The Bank of Canada is raising its key interest rate from 0.25% to 0.5%. Raising the interest rate is an attempt by the federal government to bring rapidly rising inflation down to a more manageable level. However, this move will not be well received by potential home buyers who will be affected by higher mortgage payments. Drew Stremick has the story.
term, yeah, I think we're stuck.
The Bank of Canada raised the key interest rate from 0.25% to 0.5% on Wednesday. The hope is that the move will cause inflation to go down to a more reasonable level, but it could take until 2023 to see the effects.
We certainly don't want the Bank of Canada to overreact because it takes quite some time for their interest rate choices to filter into the economy. So they make changes today. The effects are felt in the middle or late next year. And so they need to think about where we're going to be, not where we are.
Where is Calgary right now? A red-hot real estate market. Calgary has seen a record number of homes changing hands, totaling 3,005, up from just 1,831 this time last year. Individuals working in the real estate industry are seeing signs of a trend that's quite common in other major cities across Canada.
With the market currently in Calgary that we're seeing a big trend of is out of province buyers. So that's a lot of the times where you're seeing those housing prices where they're going, 100K over list, no conditions, that type of thing. A lot of that is out of province money. And I don't think that they're going to be scared away by a 0.25% increase.
Even for local buyers, the increase isn't too much of a concern because lenders already require homeowners to be able to handle an interest rate of 0.52%. While experts in industry aren't sure how much the 0.25% increase in the interest rate will affect Calgary's red-hot housing market, those looking to initially get into it aren't too concerned.
Well, in terms of applying for a mortgage, I'm not too concerned about that because I have good credit and good scores and good finances, so I'm not too worried about that, and I budget properly, so that's of no concern to me.
Concerned or not, many people who are already on a variable rate could see costs reach for the sky if interest rates rise too quickly. For St. Newsfile, I'm Drew Stremick.
Albertans now have the option of wearing a mask in most indoor facilities. Health officials are predicting pocket outbreaks in areas where capacity limits are being stretched without monitoring transmission. Institutions like SAIT are seeing an increase in volume on campus as classes switch to in-person learning, requiring masks in certain areas to reduce transmission. Alberta infectious disease specialists are saying there is a potential for large areas of the population turning into super spreaders, warning we already have a high rate of infection in the province. On campus, most teachers are leaving the option to mask up to students for their comfort level and will support the students whether they wear a mask or not.
You can talk and see the reaction of people and redness in the face or the ease or relaxing, and being able to see the entire face lets me know whether I should review a topic again or whether I should carry on to a new topic.
Other facilities like Scotiabank Saddledome will be returning to full capacity tonight when the Flames host the Montreal Canadiens. And Premier Jason Kenney is coming under fire for threatening changes to the Municipal Government Act to stop local governments from introducing their own mask laws. Critics are saying Kenney's flip-flopping on these issues is causing confusion and lacking unity. Back in July 2020, Kenney acknowledged that local mask rules made sense, but now Kenney argues as we transition to an endemic phase, it is important to focus on unity and clarity to divert confusion. St. Albert's Mayor Kathy Heron, says Kenney should show some respect to local decision makers and understand they are being encouraged by the public to make bylaws in their community. Alberta is looking to open a couple of overdose prevention sites in Calgary and Edmonton, expecting to take over Calgary's only supervised consumption site at the Sheldon Schumer Centre. Overdose prevention sites will be more bare-boned and allow operations to work on a temporary basis. An OPS facility will address an immediate need in the community while not requiring support services. Most communities use OPSs as a stepping stone to a permanent safe consumption site. However, the Government of Alberta has closed a handful of safe consumption sites in previous years. And with more ease being applied to COVID restrictions, Canadian travelers can see clear skies with loosening border measures. Many travelers will still see testing with random selection, but will no longer be required to quarantine while awaiting results. Passengers can also ditch the negative COVID test before entering the country. Unvaccinated or partially unvaccinated children will no longer be required to self-isolate before returning to school or daycare. While frequent flyers stretch their wingspan, medical experts are pushing for caution on ending testing, saying the international prevalence of variants is a valuable key to understanding some level of testing in the province. We all know here in Alberta how devastating wildfires can be. Just a few years ago, Fort McMurray was almost wiped off the map. Now, as it starts to warm up here in Alberta, the wildfire firefighters are starting their preparation for the 2022 season, hoping this one is a calm one. Michael Quaz has the details.
The next 2 months in Alberta are the highest risks of the year for wildfires to spark. This is due to the snow starting to melt down, and you see the tall grass and dry grass starting to reach the surface, which then can spark very easily into a major fire. Most of the wildfires are started by humans and not by nature. In 2020, the stats showed 88% of all wildfires in Alberta were human started, but in 2021, the province saw the percentage fall to 62%.
So that's good news. It shows that Albertans have taken the messaging that we put out about soaking, stirring, soaking again, and being careful when you're on the landscape. They've taken that to heart.
Despite taking it to heart, there were still more than
almost 2/3 of those were caused, by human activity. So it's good news that we're seeing the number fall year over year the last 2 years, but we still have work to do.
Campfires traditionally cause a lot of these first when they are not properly smudged out or left unattended. But one area most don't think about much is the off-highway vehicles like ATVs or side-by-sides. When you're riding in trails, grass gets caught up in the exhaust, and if it's not taken out, it can actually act like a natural match and spark a fire.
The other thing people need to understand is that if you, through negligence, have started a wildfire, there's potential that you are liable for the cost of putting that wildfire out.
The wildfire crews are anticipating another dry summer, which means they may be very busy once again. Alberta Wildfire has created an app for Albertans to keep track of the wildfire situation and what fires are active in the province, as well as the active fire bans that are going on in the province of Alberta, so that you can stay up to date before you head out to your campsite. For St. Newsfile, I'm Michael Quas.
Those are today's top stories. We'll have your full forecast after the break with Scott Krause. But first, Rachel Weed has a look at what's going on around Calgary this week.
Get ready to headbang as the Edmonton-based pop band Stereos is coming to the Gateway at SAIT this Saturday. Tickets are available through Ticketmaster. The widely known influential artist in Korean entertainment EPIK is making a hip-hop stop at the University of Calgary this Sunday from 8 to 10 p.m. Watch a lonely Caboose become tired of being at the end of the line and gets the life she wanted in a surprising way. The beloved children's story The Caboose Who Got Loose comes to life this Sunday at 3 in the Arts Commons. Explore Calgary's hidden art, history, and eateries before dark with the Calgary Clue-Solving Adventure from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. this upcoming Monday. Tickets are available at Eventbrite. Looking to test your around-the-world taste buds? Get your appetite ready as Cozy Meal is hosting a classic French Sunday lunch cooking class Wednesday, March 9th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m.
What a beautiful day out there today. Foggy, but the hoarfrost on the trees makes it look like a winter wonderland. Hoarfrost forms when the surfaces are already below freezing and the humidity increases. Ice crystals form and continue to grow as more water vapor freezes. The size of the frost depends on how much humidity is in the air. It paints a pretty picture. It might be frosty here in Calgary, but for the rest of Canada, it's snowy. Looking at the western side of Canada, there is a high pressure system at the top moving down and through the country. That high pressure system could be the reason why there's fog and still air. The temperatures in Western Canada are low and average between -10 and 20. They should be increasing within the next few weeks because of spring. As we move towards the eastern side of Canada, it is also pretty cold and pretty snowy. It's cloudy in most places, but the coldest is Quebec and Newfoundland and Labrador. There's a low pressure system just above the ocean, and it's really making that area cold. The temperatures in Montreal are lower, but not as cold as Quebec. Let's take a look at the resorts. Today in Palm Springs, it's a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 28. Barbados sits at 30 and is mainly sunny. Cancun is also sunny but has a high of 26. Honolulu and Orlando are both 28 and sunny, but Honolulu is risking the chance of showers. Las Vegas is 27 and mainly sunny as well. The temperature right now is -8, and there's a 60% chance of flurries throughout the evening. The current condition is snowy, with that snow melting throughout the next few days because it will be sunny throughout the weekend. The wind is currently 15 kilometers. As we take a look at the Alberta provincial map, there is a lot of snow and clouds around the province because of the low pressure or high pressure systems. But Grand Prairie is misty because of that the high pressure system, and there's a lot of fog, but that could change to flurries by midnight. Banff is also cloudy. Taking a look at the 5-day forecast, tonight we'll have a low of 17, and like I said, there will be a 60% chance of flurries. The weekend will be sunny with the highest temperature reaching 2. Monday is 8. Gates will have a look at the sports.
When you donate to the Salvation Army, you're not just donating a coat, you're donating another warm night for someone that needs it. When you donate to the Salvation Army, you're giving someone hope. So why wait? Give hope today.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. With industry-standard technology and the best instructors in the business, SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
Welcome back to SAIT Newsfile. Gates Gorin joins us now for a look at the latest highlights. What can we expect from you?
Well, Rye, quite a mixed bag from hockey to esports, but let's stick a little closer to home and start with our SAIT Trojans. Well, the Trojans are gearing up for the Provincial Curling Championships in Camrose this Saturday. Nationals were canceled due to COVID restrictions, so this will be the final bonspiel of the season. As Stacey Hine reports, both the mixed team and the men's team are confident in their strategies.
No matter who we play, as long as we play our game, we'll be really tough to beat.
SAIT's mixed curling team is up against Nate and Lakeland College this weekend. The team is third in the standings and won't have the hammer in the first end. The underdogs plan to put up a center guard for protection when the last rock hits.
Nate's got a pretty good skip, so I guess just make it a harder shot for him at the end there.
The mixed team has lost 3 out of 4 games this season. Despite the icy start, things are starting to slide into place.
Seen huge improvements. Some of the athletes came in with different levels of experience prior to this, and now I don't know if you could even tell who only played 1 year or 2 years. They've all really blossomed and come together as a team.
That's good. The Trojans say they focused on communication skills, which helped the dynamic between the skips and the sweepers.
This is the last practice for the SAIT curling team before they head off to provincials. The men's team is second in the league, just behind Red Deer Polytechnic. This weekend, they're ready to rock the competition and sweep the Kings away to win the championship title.
The men's curling team is the ACAC defending champion. They are already familiar with the Kings strategy and will use that in their favor.
The skip of the Red Deer Polytechnic team is actually on one of my regular season teams. So I know how he plays pretty well, and I'm planning to use that against him a little bit.
The men's team only has 3 players, which is another advantage.
You definitely do work a bit better as a team when there's only 3. It's a bit easier to manage. You have a better feel of the ice because you get to throw a few more rocks.
U of A, Concordia University, and Nate also have to be knocked out if the Trojans want gold. For State Newsfile, I'm Stacey Hine.
The International Paralympic Committee has made the decision to ban Russia and Belarus from the upcoming Paralympic Games. The move comes less than 24 hours after the IPC announced it would allow athletes from both nations to compete under a neutral flag. Countries threatening to withdraw from the Games, as well as what is being described by organizers to be a volatile environment in the athletes' village, prompted the new decision. IPC President Andrew Parsons was quoted at the press conference saying, "The war has now come to these Games, and behind the scenes, many governments are having an influence on our cherished event. We were trying to protect our Games from war." The Paralympic Games officially start tomorrow in Beijing. Back on home soil, only one Canadian team was in action last night in the NHL, and Leafs fans, you might want to look away from the screen. The Maple Leafs hosted the lowly Buffalo Sabres, who quickly opened the scoring off a Jacob Bryson power play marker. The Leafs would answer as a pretty passing play ended with a Rasmus Sandin goal. Then, after the Leafs lost sight of the puck, Victor Olofsson scores into a wide open net. A great chance here for Pierre Engvall, but he is absolutely denied at the doorstep by Craig Anderson. The Sabres would add 3 more goals to embarrass the Leafs in their first game back in front of a full house. Jeff Skinner remained hot, and Craig Anderson made 29 saves for the visitors, which marked his 298th career win, spanning 19 NHL seasons. Switching from the rink to the hard court, Canadian tennis phenom Leylah Fernandez is off to the quarterfinals of the Monterrey Open after a hard-fought match with China's Qinwen Zhang. Fernandez started the match strong with a forearm volley straight down the line to prevent game point. Zhang would answer with a powerful backhand herself to keep the set alive.
Well, keeps herself alive.
Now Fernandez's strong serve was too much for Zhang to handle as she took down the first set. Leylah's team is quite happy with that result. Zhang would even the set count, but Fernandez put the match away for good behind her strong serve. Fernandez will advance to the Open's quarterfinal on top of a stellar performance in which she saved 5 of 6 break points. She awaits the winner of Mayor Sharif and Qiang Wang, which is set to begin later on today. Well, it was a night to remember for James Harden, who made his home debut for the Philadelphia 76ers against the New York Knicks in front of a sellout crowd. Harden on the highlight reel early with a beautiful behind-the-back pass to Toby Harris for the stand-up 3. Knicks standout R.J. Barrett made his presence known, beating Danny Green and throwing it down for the two-handed slam. Harden would find Joel Embiid down low for the bucket and one. The Beard wanted to get in on the scoring, so he put it up against the shoddy Knicks defense, flexing hard on them. Harden would add a full-court pass to Matisse Thybulle to ice the game for Philly. He would finish with 26 points, one behind Embiid's 27-point, 12-rebound effort. R.J. Barrett would lead all scorers, draining a 30-piece in the losing effort. Finally, in the world of esports, the first major in the Call of Duty League kicked off earlier today in Arlington, Texas. The winners bracket matches started with a bang as the London Royal Ravens took down the Los Angeles Guerrillas in a match that went the distance, defeating them 3-2, sending them to the losers bracket. Later matches include the defending champs Atlanta FaZe beginning their title defense against the expansion Boston Breach, the new-look LA Thieves trying to upset the powerhouse Toronto Ultra, and the surprising Seattle Surge facing off against the hometown Texas Optic. And that is a look at the sports. Wow.
I didn't think esports was becoming so popular.
Yeah, the whole digital field is now expanding, and we should be following all of it.
Oh, that's perfect. Well, Rachel Weed will have a look at what's the latest in the world of entertainment. Stay with us after the break.
How does this dog look to you? Or this kitten? They're happy, and yet they're homeless, staying with another family until they find you. ARF has helped give over 2,500 animals forever homes. Why not be the net? Help us help them. You rescue, I rescue. ARF, caring for those in need.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is Broadcast News. Come and dare to be on air.
The new Batman is dropping this weekend, and many fans are having mixed feelings over Robert Pattinson as the Dark Knight. Rachel Weed is up in the newsroom to give us all the tea on the hot gossip. How's it looking?
Well, there is always something hot in Hollywood, Rye. There is no shortage of exciting news both internationally and locally.
Let's meet today's contestants. A director of strategy from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Ujjwal Thakur.
Thakur made Calgary proud when he made an appearance on the well-known random fact game of Jeopardy! He struck gold by getting the first daily double after 2 questions answered correctly. Thakur finished with over $14,000 in questions answered correctly. If you ever feel like you want to yell at the TV, look no further than Wheel of Fortune.
I'll solve.
Okay.
Another feather in your hat.
The hot mess of this back and forth of what letter is where made Wheel of Fortune fans want to turn away. After many spins of the wheel, getting bankrupt, and letters wrong, one of the contestants finally answered a key letter, narrowing it down. After another wrong guess, one of the contestants finally solved this nail-biter of a riddle. Kanye has not been happy over the announcement of his now ex-wife Kim Kardashian being legally single.
Was once I thought from around the way. My life was never easy.
Just last night, West released the official music video for his new song, Easy. In the video, Kanye shows Pete Davidson in the ground having rose seeds thrown on top of him. West is getting quite a bit of backlash from fans of the budding relationship of Pete Davidson and Kardashian. Kardashian dropped West from her name the same day as the release. The newest iteration of the well-loved movie franchise Batman is set to release in theaters this weekend.
I'm vengeance.
Batman stars Robert Pattinson as the grim-caped crusader. The film finds Batman in his second year on the job of fighting crime. Director and co-writer Matt Reeves hinted at his interpretation of Batman as more of a film noir, more detective story than comic book. And that's a look at entertainment news, Rye. Back to you.
Thanks, Rachel. Kanye really needs to learn the best love triangle is always pizza, never people. With weather changing rapidly in Calgary, the pressure in your tires may cause a problem for driving. Knowing how to fill your tires regularly is important for your car's safety. Dylan Thompson has the story.
Low tire pressure can be a huge problem for most drivers, but not many people know how to fix this. At your local gas station, you can find the air hose completely free of charge.
Yeah, I did need to fill it up once because it was getting really flat and my car said that the pressure was low, but I didn't know how to do it, so I had to ask an employee here.
It is important to keep your tire pressure at the manufacturer's recommended tire pressure because it helps maintain the tire so you don't have to buy a new one, and it's also the best for your fuel economy as well.
On the inside of the driver's door is a sticker indicating the recommended pressure for each tire. First, remove the hose from the stand. Press the on button indicated on the stand. Remove the cap from the nozzle on the tire and place the hose firmly to it. Press and hold the trigger. Releasing the trigger will show the pressure of the tire. Once the tire has reached the recommended pressure, screw the cap back on and place the hose back on the stand.
And that's a look at your news for today. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going home to get ready for my esports victories.
I am going to watch Batman. It's not even a question.
That'll be a good call.
It's going to be an epic movie.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Well, thanks for everything. Good job, guys.
Let's go.